Welcome to Thinking Recursion in Java. This is the second video in our series in which we discuss about how to think about recursion in Java and solve a lot of exercises in Java. So what all will we cover in this video? In this video we will do recursion with strings, and some of the exercises we will do is count for a character in a string, replace, remove, and finally reversing a string. So in the previous video, we had talked about recursion in 4 steps, a 4-step process to understand recursion and solve problems in recursion. So if you have not seen that video, I would strongly suggest go ahead and see that. It's linked in the description. The 4th-step process that we had discussed was break problem into smaller problems, generalize solution, specify base condition, and write the code. So we will apply the same 4-step process in the exercises that we will solve in this. So let's start with the recursion code exercise 1. Count the number of t in the given string. So we have been given a string and we need to count the number of t in it. And remember, what do we need to use? We need to use recursion. So what is the first step? Break problem into smaller problems. So let's say our string is tomato. So now if our string is tomato, we can say the number of t in tomato is equal to 1 plus the number of t's in tomato. So we have taken the first character of tomato and we know the number of t's in it. In this case it is 1 plus the number of t's in tomato. Similarly, if you want to count the number of t's in tomato, it is 0. Why? Because we have taken out the first character, which is 4, plus the number of t's in tomato. And that is how we can keep on doing it till we reach the final point wherein 4 is equal to 0 because there is no t in 4 plus an empty string. So as you can see, we are breaking the problem down into smaller problems at each step. So what is our approach? We are checking for the first character. Is the first character t? If it is t, it is 1, otherwise it is 0. And what is the smaller problem? Count number of t in the remaining string. So here this is the remaining string tomato. Similarly here this is the remaining string. So that's the approach we have used. Now in the second step, what do? We will generalize the solution. So count tomato is equal to is t, the first character which is t, plus count tomato, that is what we did in the previous slide. Or I can generalize it and say count str is equal to is t, first character, plus count of the remaining string. And is t will give 1 or 0 depending upon whether this character is a t or not. So that's the generalized solution. Once we have done it, we move to step 3, which is specify base condition. In strings, typically the base condition is an empty string. So count of an empty string will obviously be 0. It has no t in it. So if we recap, what did we do so far? Count str is equal to is t first char plus count of the remaining string, and count of an empty string is 0. Now that we have reached this step, let's go to our final step, which is write the code. So here let's define our function, static int count. And what does it take? It takes a string str. And what do we need to do? What is our base condition? If str dot length, we could say, is equal to 0. If the length of the string is 0, which means it's an empty string, what should we do? We will return 0. Else, what do we need to do? Else, we will find out the first character. So let me say char first char is equal to str dot char at 0. String remaining string. is equal to str dot substring 1. So we have taken the substring starting from 1. So now that we have reached here, what should we return? Return is t first char plus count remaining. That is what we need to do. So let us define this function st. Static int is t. It takes a char ch, and what does it do? If ch is equal to t, return 1, else return. So that is our st. Now that we have coded it, we can just say count of t in tomato is equal to count, and let's run this code and see what do we get as the output. So count of t in tomato is 2. So let's run it for this output ATT So how many t's should it have? It should have 5. If we run it, what do we get as the output? Count of t in ATT is 5. So we have coded it exactly like the conditions we wrote. So we took out the first character, t gives us 1 or 0 depending upon whether it's a t or not, plus count of the remaining. Let us look at the next exercise. Count the number of t and m in the given string. So this is very similar to that previous exercise. So count of the number of t and m in the given string can now be written as count in tomato is, we can define this function is tm for the first character, plus count it in the remaining string. So now is tm will return 1 if the character is t or it is m, otherwise it will return 0, and we can count the number of t and m in the remaining string. So we get this count str is equal to is tm first character plus count remaining string. And the base condition is again the same. So we can just go ahead and write the code. And in this case, we will just go ahead and edit our previous code. So in our previous code, we should now say return is tm. And if we change this function to is tm, so this should be ch is equal to t or ch is equal to m. So if the character is t or m, we should return 1, else we should return 0. So with this change, this should work. And in tomato, how many t and m should we find? We should find 3. So if we run this code and let's see what do we get as the output. We get count of t and m in tomato is 3. So that's the change. So this is the structure in which we have changed that code, and this seems to be working fine. Let's look at the next exercise. Replace t in the given string by hash. So all the occurrences of t in the string should be replaced by hash. So again, if we look at our example for tomato, so tomato can be written as tomato is equal to hash. So the t is getting replaced by hash plus tomato. Similarly, omato, the first character is o, so that remains the same, plus mato, and so on. So that is how this problem is being broken down into a smaller problem. Mato is equal to m, the first character, plus whatever we will do for ato, and so on. Or if we generalize it, replace tomato is equal to check t for the first character. If it is t, we'll get a hash here, otherwise we'll get exactly the same character, plus replace the remaining string tomato, which is what we have said in the generalized solution. Replace str is check t first char plus replace remaining string. And what's the base condition? For an empty string, there is no need to replace. So replace of an empty string is an empty string. So these are our two main things that we have found out. Replace str is equal to check t first char plus replace remaining string. and replace of an empty string is an empty string. So now that we know that, we can just go ahead and write our code. So let's say static, this will return a string, replace, and it takes a string str as input. Now what is the base condition? If the string is an empty string, so we can just say if str dot length is equal to 0, what do we return? We will just return an empty string. That's our base condition. Else what do we need to do? We will need to find out the first char. So I can say char first char is equal to str dot char at 0, string remaining string is equal to str dot substring 1. And what should we return? We should return check t for the first char plus replace the remaining string. And here this plus is string concatenation, we all know that. So now we need to define this function. So static char check t. It takes a char ch. If ch is equal to t, return hash. That is what we want to return. Else what do we want to do? Else return ch. Otherwise return the same character. So now if we run this code, what do we get? Replace t by hash in Ometo gives us hash ome hash 4. And if we say att btt, and if I run that, what do we get? We get a triple hash b triple hash. So that is what we wanted. So again the same implementation that we have used here. Let's look at the next exercise. Remove t in the given string. So we have been given a string, say tomato, and we want to remove t from that string. So tomato would be, the first character is t, so it's an empty string, plus ometo. Similarly, ometo will be o, because that's not t, plus meto, and so on. So we can see this pattern here. So let's call it remove tomato is remove t from the first character plus remove of the remaining string. So remove str is remove t from the first character. If the first character is t, it will be an empty, otherwise it will have that character, plus remove from the remaining string. What's the base condition? For an empty string, remove will always return an empty string, and hence we get the two functions for us, or the two statements for us, and we can just go ahead and write the code. So this was the previous code we had written. I can just go ahead and modify it. So we need remove, and here we need, what do we need this? We need remove t. Now what would remove t do? We will need to make a change here. We will need to return a string. Why? Because there is nothing called an empty character. So if it is t, we return an empty string. Otherwise, we return plus. So remove t. So now if we run the code, what do we get as the output? Remove t in a triple t, b double t is ab. And if we do it for tomato, so remove t in tomato is o-m-a-r. So this is how we have solved this problem. Let's move to the final exercise of this lesson. Reverse a given string. So we have been given a string and we need to reverse it. So if we want to reverse tomato, so what should be the reverse of tomato? It will be O-T-A-M-O-T. So this T will come at the end. So reverse of tomato is reverse of ometo plus t. So if I write what should be the reverse of ometo, it will be OTAMO and then the t at the end. So this is important to note that this t is getting concatenated at the end, not in the beginning. Same for reverse of ometo is reverse of meto plus o and so on. So we have seen how to break this problem into a smaller problem. So reverse of tomato is reverse of ometo plus t, or generalizing it, reverse of a string is reverse of the remaining string plus the first character, and this plus is, as we know, string concatenation. What's the base condition? Reverse of an empty string is obviously an empty string, so we have the base condition. So now we know these two things. Reverse of string is reverse of remaining string plus first char, and reverse of an empty string is an empty string. Given this, we can just go ahead and write the code. So let's do that. So static string reverse, it takes a string str as input. We do our standard thing, if str dot length is equal to 0. That's our base condition. We return an empty string. Else what do? We will need the first char. So char first char is equal to str dot char at 0. String remaining string is equal to str dot substring 1. And what do we return here? Return reverse of remaining string plus first char. So remember this. This is what we discussed. So first we will do reverse of remaining string, and then we will concatenate the first char. So let's check it. Reverse of tomato is and let's run the code and see what do we get as output. So reverse of tomato is, so we get the reverse. Let's check it for another thing, say ATTBTT. What do we get the output as? This is also fine. Let's check it for our base condition. So reverse of empty string is an empty string. Let's check it for, say, a single char. Does it work for that also? So typically these are the conditions you should always check. So now that we have done 4 exercises, 5 exercises in reversing and removing and counting, couple of code exercises for you. Replace A and B from the given string by capital A and capital B respectively. So if your string was bananas, it should become capital B, capital A, N, capital A, N, capital A. The second code exercise I want you to do is remove A and B from the given string. So bananas will become N, N, S. So write down the code for this and share it in the comments, and I will give you feedback on it. And if you face any problem, just share it in the comments, and I will just give you support and help you out there. The code for these exercises have been shared. The earlier exercises that we discussed have been shared in the description. And as we discussed in the first video, do subscribe to it so that you keep on getting updates on the next videos that we are putting on. And recursion, as you know, is a very, very important subject, heavily asked in the interviews, and it is not difficult to master it. So just keep on doing this video lessons with us, and I'm certain that you will build a very, very strong foundation in recursion.